What if humanity suddenly vanished one day, and 100,000 years later, an alien species visited our planet? Would it be possible for them to find any trace of us? Two science fiction enthusiast professors, curious about the answer to this question, set out to find the sole remnant that would remain from humanity. After years of research, this duo, inspired by a beloved character from the sci-fi series Doctor Who, the Silurian race, develop a hypothesis bearing the same name, the Silurian Hypothesis. However, while Adam Frank and Gavin Schmidt were searching for a trace that humanity would leave for future visitors to our world, they inadvertently ended up making a discovery about our planet's past that would shock everyone, leading them to ask the question, could it be that we are not the first advanced civilization on this planet? Humans have inhabited Earth for only about 300,000 years, a blink of an eye compared to the planet's 4.5 billion year history. Yet, in terms of leaving our mark and changing the planet, we are a colossal race. With our megacities spanning kilometers, the thousands of different types of products we manufacture, and even the thousands of satellites filling its orbit, we like to think our civilization will develop and progress forever. But on our planet and in the universe, everything can change in an instant. Just as a meteor wiped out the dinosaurs, who dominated this planet for 180 million years, the end of the human race could come unexpectedly and suddenly. So, would even the slightest trace remain to reflect our supposedly advanced civilization and technology? If someone landed on Earth someday, could they find anything left of us who once roamed as the absolute masters of this planet? These very questions occupied the minds of scientists Adam Frank and Gavin Schmidt, and the pair embarked on years of research. They studied how we have affected the planet geographically, chemically, and physically, and investigated many different topics, such as the kind of decay nature would inflict on human structures without human intervention. Eventually, the first draft of their hypothesis began to take shape. Inspired by the Silurians, a reptilian race from the series Doctor Who, they gave their hypothesis this name and began sharing their findings with the scientific community. According to the hypothesis, for races to reach a certain level of civilization, they must have access to energy. For a developing basic civilization, the most easily accessible and simple energy sources are carbon-based natural formations, such as trees and fossil fuels. Just as in the period from the Industrial Revolution to the present day, a race that consumes these resources increasingly each day begins to cause some radical changes in the planet's atmosphere. Considering the human race, because we have consumed fossil fuels intensively, we have significantly increased the amount of carbon-12 in our atmosphere. With this increase in gas, the naturally occurring nuclear carbon-14 in the atmosphere began to decrease, and the balances of several other gases were disrupted. Under normal circumstances, our atmosphere would correct this imbalance over time, but the effects of the gases are stored for millions of years as a layer absorbed in rocks and glaciers. Because we humans have deciphered the secrets of this natural archiving method through deep drilling, we can clearly analyze how our world's atmosphere has changed over millions of years. Now, imagine that humanity suddenly vanished, and an advanced alien species discovered Earth by chance. After landing on the planet, the only thing they would see is pristine nature. Even if they went to what were once megacities like Tokyo, New York, or Istanbul, they wouldn't find a single human structure. Everything humanity built would vanish without a trace in just a few tens of thousands of years, let alone hundreds of thousands, due to the lack of any preservation factor. The metals of huge skyscrapers would corrode and collapse. Our roads would be overgrown by plants. Even the most robust structures would be covered by natural vegetation due to lack of maintenance and would be erased from the pages of history. Even though we are constantly active on this planet, we have already lost many structures from our ancient history to nature. According to archaeologists, 75% of the structures remaining from ancient Egyptian civilization are still waiting to be discovered under the desert sands. In South America, huge cities that once hosted millions of people are now lost under a dense layer of forest. Just think, if you were living in those days of ancient civilizations like the ones I mentioned, which had kingdoms lasting thousands of years and hosted millions of people, you would have thought these millennia-old civilizations would never disappear. But look, now we can barely find their remains. When it comes to searching for even older remains, our job becomes increasingly difficult. Our planet is constantly reforming its surface. Rocks that were once on the seabed have now become mountains, and one day in the future, they will turn to dust and transform into entirely different formations. This transformation is called plate tectonics, and it allows the planet to continuously renew its own surface, even if it takes a very long time. This renewal is so effective in the long term that on our Earth, which we estimate to be 4.5 billion years old, the oldest surface fragment we have currently identified is only 1.8 billion years old. For all these reasons, our alien visitors would not find a single remnant of us on the planet's surface. But if they started analyzing the soil layers of the planet, the situation would change dramatically. As I mentioned before, humanity's impact on the atmosphere in the last 150 years has been hugely dramatic, and all this disruption of the gas balance is now being naturally absorbed and archived by the planet's surface layers. If our alien race conducted deep drilling and examined these soil layers, they could detect a dramatic increase in carbon-12 in the atmosphere from 100,000 years ago. Normally, such emissions can also occur through natural means, like volcanic eruptions. But the mark left by humanity is so intense in such a short time that it's impossible for it to be natural. And it's not just carbon. Specific materials like nitrogen used in fertilizer production and rare metals processed for our technology also showed dramatic changes in the last 100 years. From this, our alien visitors could instantly understand that a race requiring high energy once existed on this planet. Frank and Schmidt's hypothesis was met with joy in the scientific community and turned into knowledge that we too could use to search for past life on different planets in the future. Continuing their research to develop their hypothesis, this duo conducted deep drilling studies in light of their own techniques, conducting examinations into Earth's past. In doing so, they unknowingly uncovered a shocking reality. Remember the sudden gas spikes indicative of civilization I mentioned earlier? A much sharper spike than the one created by humanity today suddenly appeared before them in these deep drillings. Furthermore, the time when these gases peaked could be calculated, and it points to 56 million years ago. At first, thoughts turned to powerful natural events like a supervolcano eruption. However, after detailed geological research, no supervolcano activity from that period has been found to date. And strangely, it wasn't just carbon-12. Other phenomena not entirely natural and linked to the effects of a civilization, like surface metal increases and global temperature jumps, also experienced a significant rise during this period. This, of course, does not mean that a civilization just like ours definitely lived in those times. It's possible that a natural disaster, the cause of which we do not yet understand, caused this change, even if the probability is low. Given that an unimaginably long period of 56 million years has passed, finding traces of such civilizations is mathematically nearly impossible. As an extreme example, imagine we detonated all our nuclear bombs, released all our chemicals into nature, burned all the trees, and polluted all the seawater. Imagine we used all the means at our disposal to ruin the planet. In just 1 or 2 million years, our planet would cleanse itself from all this poison and destruction and continue on as if none of it had ever happened, thanks to its power of renewal and repair. Before us, Earth faced mass destruction 5 times due to events far beyond our imagination. But each time, it managed to restart the entire life cycle. It will possess this power of renewal for almost the next 2 billion years, until the sun expands and pushes Earth into temperatures unsuitable for life. Considering all this, the conclusion emerges that not only 56 million years ago, but perhaps in a much more recent past or even much earlier, civilizations beyond our imagination could have existed on this Earth. With technological advancements in archaeology, like LiDAR and new drilling techniques, the deeper we look into our world, the more we actually see its past. And who knows? Maybe one day, with advanced technology, we might discover a preserved relic from the past in these fathomless depths and shed a little more light on our own planet's millions of years of history. So, what is your opinion on this matter? Do you think advanced civilizations could have existed on this planet before us? And how do you think they vanished? You can write your thoughts in the comments section. See you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and like.